Plans, I have them. It's the 11th of July and I have plans. Of course I do. My plans are 100% influenced by the current heat wave that we are experiencing in the UK at the moment. It is warm and I am being very British in mentioning it, but it has, as I say, influenced the plans that I have for the rest of the month. So let me show you what I am going to be sewing or attempting to sew and which patterns are hopefully going to turn into sew-alongs that you'll see on the channel in the not too distant future. First up we have McCall's 7929. This was voted for by the Patreon peeps. Thank you very much. I gave them technically five different tops to pick from. Now we all know that I don't really wear tops very often, so all of the patterns were put up for a vote with the proviso that I was going to turn them all into dresses, and this is the one that the Patreon peeps wanted to see me attempt to make. It is a Laura Ashley, have I got that right? Yes, I have. A Laura Ashley kind of bustier type top with a button back. I'm going to change a bunch of stuff about this one. I really want the bustier to fit me properly over the entire bust. I don't want the kind of like cup line to kind of stop here. I don't mind it on some of my dresses, but I think for me I would prefer it to be like it's a proper, so there's definitely going to need to be a full bust adjustment is what I'm trying to get to. I want to add quite thick straps to this. I love the bandeau style or the strapless style, but I always wear a bra and I don't want to create a bunch of support and, you know, structure into this garment to try and make it so that I can wear it braless. So I want to put on nice thick straps that will cover my bra, and I think I'm going to try and shape those straps like I do for my grace dress. They're not just straight pieces like rectangles of fabric that are sewn into a tube. The grace straps are wider at the bottom and then kind of slim up here and then widen out at the back. It's just a look that I like, so yeah, I'm going to attempt that. Obviously I'm going to lengthen the peplum so that it turns into a skirt. I'm not sure if it's going to be a tiered and gathered skirt or if it's going to be a panelled skirt, but I'm probably going to end up matching up the skirt panels, if it does end up being a panel skirt, to the bodice panels because there's lots of panels in the bodice. It's not going to be a button up back dress. I do not like button up back anything because I find them very uncomfortable to sit on and sit back against, even if it was just a top. So I'm going to turn it into a zip back. And the other thing that I think I want to try and do is add some shearing panels to this, because I am fluctuating in weight quite a lot at the moment thanks to perimenopause, fun times. So I think adding some shearing panels into this will make this a more size tolerant dress than some of the other dresses that I've got that look like this in my wardrobe. I cannot get into any of those at the moment, so I like the idea of being able to wear this currently, but also if I do lose a bit of weight, because that is the goal. So yeah, I have a lot of things I want to change about this, and this will be a sew along. Theoretically a sew along. It could be a watch along of all the disasters that occur and the monstrosity that comes out of it at the end. It could be a cautionary tale of don't bite off more than you can chew. It could be a huge success, who knows. I need to pick a fabric for this, so I'm thinking it's going to be one of my Lady McElroy cotton lawns that I got from their recent sale. Doesn't necessarily have to be this one, although I do love this one. I have 10 meters of this. I have 10 meters of the Bright Side of Life lemon print on black, and I have 9 meters of the Bright Side of Life lemon print on the ivory. So it's going to be one of those three, because these ended up costing me I think about £5 per meter, so wearable muslin fodder. If it works, it's going to be a beautiful dress. If it doesn't work, fingers crossed I can technically rescue the skirt portion and make a different bodice, or just turn it into a skirt and a shirt. But I'll have enough fabric to play around with the final garment if it isn't the success that I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that it's going to be. So thank you to the Patreon peeps for picking this one. I do want to make pretty much all of the other patterns that I put up, and I have plans for most of them and they will happen at some point, but this is going to be the first one that I attempt. And now I need to go through my pattern stash and pick out 4 more patterns for this month's vote so that you guys can pick out the next project that I'm going to attempt in August. So any Patreon peeps, watch out for that. And if you haven't signed up for Patreon and you fancy doing it, all the details are in the description down below. Okay, next up is McCall's 6794. I've had this pattern for a very long time. I have have actually traced this pattern out back when I was working in the tunnel. I traced 3 top patterns out and this was one of them, and I never got around to it. Emily Hallman's made this. I loved watching the different things that she came up with and the different ways that she tackled her wardrobe building, but she for some reason or another has stopped, which is very sad. She inspired me to turn this top into a dress. She's done it and it looked brilliant. This is a fairly simple pattern which does have fitting at the front and ties, but the back is completely loose, which is going to be perfect for this kind of weather because I will be able to cinch it in and make it look really fitted when it's not quite so warm, and I will be able to loosely tie it when it is slightly too warm for very fitted things around the waist, but I'll still have some shape. I don't like super drapey things that fall from my shoulders with no definition below the boobs because the boobs are big, and if it falls directly from the boobs I look like I'm that size the whole way down. And I do go in, and I like to emphasize that. As you guys know, if you've spent any time around the channel, you know I'm all about like, hello, look, I have a waist. So I'm really excited about this one. I've traced the size small, which this is the extra small, small, medium bundle. This is an oversized look, so I'm hoping that I don't need to retrace the size medium. I might, like I say, I might. The size small is for a 32.5-inch bust, and I'm a 40-inch bust, which technically means I should be tracing the size large, and I don't even have the size large. So I'm gonna have another look at the finished garment measurements on the tissue paper. It's another reason I wish they put them on the back of the pattern. Have they done that? Finished garment finished garment measurements printed on pattern tissue. There's more than enough room for them to add it in there. That's really annoying. I know we've got bigger problems with the big 4 at the moment going into liquidation, and that's all up in the air. But like I say, I've had it for ages, have already traced it. All I need to do is elongate the skirt portion. I think I would do the CD, the kind of like slightly grown on shoulder one, rather than B and A. I do like B and A. If I've traced, I think I've traced C and D. If I've traced A and B, then maybe I'll go for that with some flutter sleeves. I like the idea of a little bit of coverage. So that is going to be one of the patterns that I attempt this month. I have not decided which of these fabrics is going to go with which of these patterns, but I'm going to show you the fabrics, I'm going to show you the patterns, and then if you have any ideas, put them in the comment section down below. We'll see how it goes. So I've got this one, which you guys saw in the I Blew the Budget fabric haul video. It's from Hound Fabrics and it is absolutely gorgeous. I've got 6 meters of it, so it's a really good candidate for this one because I would also have enough left to do something else with it. This is one of the 3 options that I have for the 3 other patterns, or 2 other patterns, all 3 patterns that I have to show you. Next up we have the McCalls 7945, which I've already done a sew along for. Don't eat my chair. That's my chair. Don't eat my chair. No, we don't eat chairs. We don't. He eats chairs. I have a puppy joining me. He is roaming in the back garden, but apparently he heard me chatting to you guys and has decided to come join. You hot dog? Are you a hot dog? Yes, so sorry, there is puppy in the rest of the footage. Well, for as long as he tolerates this. Yeah, 7945. I've done a sew along for this one. I have made 2 of these. I would have made way more, but every time I pick a fabric, it's usually a fairly light background. And the beauty of this dress is that it's not lined and it's nice and floaty and airy, and all the fabrics that I've picked have been basically see-through, which means that I'd have to wear a slip, which negates the point of having a light floaty and airy dress like this. But I have this fabric. Yes, it's got cats on it. This fabric, it has little tiny kittens all over it. I have 5 meters of it and it's come all the way from Lithuania. The very lovely Duvalet sent me a meter. Oh, are you done? Do you want down? Kai? I think he wants down. 2 secs. And enough? I started talking about cats and he's like, no, I'm leaving. No, you can't eat the fabric. Oh no, no. He's trying to eat my dress now. This is not good. I'm so sorry. Kai, this is not helpful. Mum and Dad have come home, so he's lost all interest in me and has gone back up to the main house. Anyway, where was I? So this one again does have ties that you can cinch in or leave loose depending on the look that you're going for. And I have found a fabric in my stash that is going to be appropriate. This one has teeny tiny little kittens all over it. The very lovely Duvalet from Lithuania sent me a meter of the red colorway of this. So it's viscose fabric. And then she let me know that they had a blue one and I was just like, amazing. So I sent her the money and she sent me the fabric. I've had this in my stash for a very long time because I definitely got it back in the old house, so it's over 4 years that it's been floating around, probably about 6 if not longer. I haven't known what to do with it, but I think it's going to be a perfect fabric for one of these projects. It's one of my favorite colors, has kittens all over it, it's not remotely sheer or see-through, so it's going to work really well for all of these, and it is a breathable fabric, so it's going to be perfect for the warmer time of year. So this is an option for one of these 3 patterns, and again you'll have to let me know in the comments which one you think will go with which. The final pattern I have is Simplicity 8505, which is this caftan pattern. Has 2 different options and I want to do option B. Now I am a patron of Gertie's and she did release a very similar caftan pattern in June. I would love to make that one, but that would mean I'd either need to have it printed on A0 or I would have to print it out myself and stick it together, and I hate doing PDFs. Just not my favorite thing. I have this one in my stash, so I'm going to use this one. A couple of you have asked for a sew along for this pattern, so I will be going ahead and attempting to do that. I think this is going to be something that again I'm going to enjoy wafting around in the warmer weather. It's another pattern, I'll put up images here, but it's another pattern that technically there's shaping at the front but there is no shaping at the back. I am not 100% sure if I'm going to leave it that way or put in either possibly buttonholes, because I can make fairly large buttonholes on my machine, maybe do little welts, maybe add in a couple of seams so that I can just leave little openings there so that I can close it at the back so that it has shape from the front and the back, although again that kind of negates the idea of a caftan. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to be finishing this one off. I just know it's going to be in one of these fabrics. And the last fabric I have to show you is another pound fabric favorite. Oh, butterflies just thrown in. I'm gonna have to try and rescue you later. Yeah, you don't want to be in here. There's no flowers. It looks like there's flowers, but there's no flowers. Yes, a flowery fabric. This one is harebells. I think they're called harebells. It's definitely kind of like a bell shape, maybe even bluebell shape really, but I've had this one for a little bit longer. I bought it at the beginning of this year. Again, I have 6 meters of this one, so I have enough to do one of these patterns and something else, which I very much like the idea of. I don't think this one is available anymore. I will link to it if it is, but yeah, I'm thinking this one for one of these patterns. So as I say, you guys will have to let me know which combination you think will work the best in the comments section. I am not 100% sure yet which one is going to go with which, but I know that I want to make all of these things. I do have one more project that I would possibly like to get to this month, and it's something else that again the fit is not going to be important because it's a bag. I have had this beautiful kind of gold green shiny faux leather in my stash for a while now. I can't remember where I got it from, I'm really sorry. It probably was the textile center, thinking about it. No, Textile Express. I know they haven't got any more of this one, but I think that's where it's from, and they do have some really fab faux leathers that work really well for bag making projects. I have bought from them a few times if you want something that's a little bit different to the usual Mora leather, which I very much highly rate for bag making. I have got this rose print that I got from one of the shows for some of the lining, and then I have got this very pale pink Fairy Frost Michael Miller cotton for the contrast of the lining. I'm hoping I can get the majority of the lining out of the rose print though. There's going to need to be some of this used for the inside of pocket pieces, I think, and then I'm going to use rainbow hardware, and the very lovely Rachel sent me this zipper tape for one of my advent advent calendars, I think it was. And I just think it goes really, really well with the roses. And I have, thankfully, rainbow pulls in my stash. So yes, I want to try and make myself an evening bag with a pattern that I've hacked before. And I want to do some more hacks on this one to see how it comes out. And fingers crossed, I will be able to show you that by the end of July as well. So what do you think of my plans? I know there are quite a few, given that there are only 20 days left of July, but I am somewhat hopeful that I can achieve most of them. I think the most difficult one is going to be the Laura Ashley McCall's pattern because of all the changes that I want to make to it. It's going to be a really interesting challenge. I think the video is going to end up being fun, even if it ends up being, like I say, a disaster, but fingers crossed it'll end up being something that's actually educational and tutorial like. We shall see. But I'm really excited about all of these. I'm also really excited to have some other pieces of clothing to wear in this really warm weather that we're experiencing in the UK that I can waft around in without feeling restricted or overheated. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any patterns that you recommend for this type of weather that you think I might like, because as we know, I have a very kind of tunnel vision when it comes to sewing patterns, so it would be interesting to see what you guys recommend. If you've enjoyed this video, you might want to check out this one here.